All right, welcome back to another year of the Super Centex Podcast. I'm Bryce Cherry alongside Chad Conine, Michael Haig. It's Michael's first full year in the sports department. He was on staff at the Trib last season, but he was doing a lot of news work, and we are obviously excited that he's gone over to where his heart really is.
It's kind of like, he used to jam with the band and now he's in the band.
Okay.
Agreed.
Well, Chad was just talking about Eddie Van Halen, so we're already.
That's all I'm going to talk about all season. Like, I'm just going to talk about Eddie Van Halen.
You just want to promote your book
every time we get on.
Well, dudes, it is football season again, and we'll be drenching ourselves in gridiron goodness from now until Christmas. And hopefully we do have several Central Texas teams that will be playing that very last week in Jerry World, which leads me to my first question. So Levi Caraway asked this at lunch on Monday at the Baylor luncheon when we were just sitting there talking. Who in Central Texas has the best shot to win state this season?
I think you have to start with La Vega. I mean, I think Chad would probably agree there. I mean, obviously they were in the title game last year, 4A D2 title game, and brought a lot of dudes back. It's obviously hard to replace Bryson Rowland and Ethan Thompson, but there's plenty of playmakers there, and I think that's where it starts. Chad, I don't know if you have some other teams that come to mind, but I think La Vega's at the top.
I'll be honest, La Vega wasn't the first team that popped into my head. I didn't do a ton of research on this morning. I've kind of been buried in preview stuff for a while now. But hey, I went 19 of 19 at getting a hold of coaches. So
there you go. That's
good.
Nice.
I'll say this about La Vega. Bryson Rowland, and I got to know him pretty well over his being a starter for 4 years for them. And he was just kind of one of those heart and soul guys, I feel like. The other thing is, obviously, Ethan Thompson was a Power 5 player on the offensive line. But there were times last year when Coach Hyde would basically chew that whole team out, and really who he was really chewing out was the offensive and defensive lines, and maybe particularly the offensive lines, because they weren't getting after it the way he thought they should. Now, did those lessons take root over the offseason? Are we going to have a meaner and nastier La Vega offensive line this time around? That's one of the things we're going to find out. The first team that did jump to my mind was the Bremont Tigers. We were in the state semifinals last year, I believe, and they do have their heart and soul running back and Tank Scott and a whole bunch of his cousins. They're dang good football players too. And I think I said, and they have this is unrelated, but they have so many kids on Jeremiah on their team, they ought to rename them the Bullfrogs.
Oh gosh, get your jokes out of the way now. Yeah, plus quarterback coming back, Sam.
Yeah, sophomore quarterback, coach's son. So, they're going to be tough.
Well, both of those teams are our highest ranked teams in Central Texas. They're both ranked 3 to enter the season in their respective classifications. I do like La Vega to make another deep run. When you're talking about, obviously, Bryson Rowland and Ethan Thompson are not easily replaceable. Let's just put that out there. Those guys are very, very talented football players, legacy players for La Vega. But you do return some offensive line talent. You do return some studs on defense. Probably the best receiving core in Central Texas, and a quarterback who seems to be coming into his own. And obviously, Michael, you wrote about the idea that La Vega might air it out a little bit more. It sounded like Coach Hyde is more like, we're just going to take what the defense gives us kind of thing.
That's exactly what he said. I think the way I wrote it is, he's not the kind of guy that's going to limit his team in any way. I mean, he's going to kind of call it how he sees it. If they're giving him the run, they're going to run it. If they're taking away the if they're taking away the run, they're going to try to pass it. Having Jabari Thornton gives them the opportunity to really air it out if they wanted to, especially when you have Courtney Parr back too, who should be even better as a quarterback. He had a good year last year as a sophomore. But yeah, I think there's a lot of potential there. And if we're gonna throw in one more team real quick, I was actually gonna mention Oglesby at the
Mm.
6-man level. I think Oglesby has a chance to really. I mean, they entered the year ranked number 4. And I mean, it would be tough to get there, especially after losing, Kyler Fawcett. But I think that's a team you could look out for, maybe even Aquila too. But
Oglesby's depth is very impressive at the six-man level. Trying to remember what Jeb Dixon told me how many that they had out, but it was in the 20s, 20 something kids. And for a six-man program, that is extremely valuable because we've all talked to six-man coaches who have like 8 guys, 10 guys,
right.
it's like, so having twice that many, that's a big deal.
I talked to one that had
Um,
seven,
huh?
seven on a good day.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Um,
It's
um,
crazy. Um, so it's kind of hard to forecast the surprise teams. I mean, obviously they surprise us for a reason. But is there anyone out there that you think could be a bit of a dark horse and has the potential to make a deep playoff run?
I'll let Michael go first again.
Yeah, that's a really interesting one. I don't know. I mean, even if a team, I guess when you look at a team like Robinson, who enters the year ranked technically, I don't know if they would necessarily be a dark horse, but with how much they bring back, especially at the quarterback position, I mean, new head coach, I mean that if things kind of go right for them, especially down the stretch of the year, they're obviously going to be tested in that district. I mean, we saw Gatesville come out of that district and go 3 rounds deep, and I mean things can kind of change in a hurry for a team. I think if Robinson can peak at the right time, that might be a team I would look at in 4A to maybe make a run. But I don't know if you had anyone else that came to mind, Chad.
Yeah, I do. I'm just looking to see if they're ranked or not. But I think the Whitney Wildcats could be really, really good. If they got things on a roll, they stay healthy. Obviously, Jonte Johnson probably kept them, his injury probably kept them from going further in the playoffs last year. But they had a team full of sophomores that are now a team full of juniors, and uh, David Haynes Jr. loves that group that he's got. And I could see them getting on a roll and just being real tough. They've got some D1 players on their roster.
Mm.
So that's my answer is the Whitney Wildcats.
They do have to replace a really good quarterback, Mason
Mm-hmm.
Seeley. He was special for them. But like you said, a lot of talent coming back. I think that's going to be a really competitive district that they're
Yep,
in.
that's what I'm writing about today.
Yeah,
So
there you
Yeah.
go.
yeah,
Well, I'll dip into the six-man ranks and talk about a team as a little bit of a dark horse. It's kind of hard um, to mention a state-ranked team as a dark horse, but Aquila has not made one of those kind of deep runs in a while. I say that they were good last year. They made a deep run last year. They just ran into Abbott for the second time. Um, but here they go into the season ranked ahead of Abbott, which is not a normal place for them to be. And when I talked to Shannon Williams a few weeks ago for that district, and talking to them about their team, he was like, "Yeah, look, until somebody beats Abbott, da 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 da, they're the team to beat." Which I get that because he was like, "Look, I've been here 5 years. I've got my butt handed to me 4 times, by them. They've beaten Abbott once in that time, but." This is the group I think that you might say, yeah, it could all come together. And the irony there is they lost a really good player in Hagen Williams, but but they still have some guys. I mean, they have a pretty good senior group. Like I said, go into the season state ranked ahead of Abbott. So we'll see. I think Aquila is going to be a team to watch at least, to see how good they could be. So obviously we've got football games this week. Which game are you most looking forward to uh, here in week one? Whether it's the game that you're going to be covering or not.
For me, it is the game that I'm going to, and it's Robinson at West. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. If I think I can't, I think it was Zach who was there last year, but triple overtime game in Robinson, and Robinson kind of appeared to have it won. I mean, they were up, I think, two scores late into the fourth, and then West scored two touchdowns in like the last minute. It was just crazy. And then Robinson had to like block a kick to send it to the third overtime. I mean, it was just absolute chaos. And I think that's going to be a fun one up there in West this week. And, both teams bring a lot back. Robinson, has a lot of talent. So Robinson's probably viewed as the favorite, especially being the bigger school. But I think that one for sure is the one that I'm kind of circling most is, this is the game to watch.
I just remember we got to do a picks box at some point today, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll
I
get
think
back
I'm
to
gonna
you.
I think I'm gonna pick West in that one, and just because here's the thing. Another coach in West District told me yesterday that Coach Souders is the one of the best DCs in Central Texas, and actually I think it was Coach Nowell from Mejia, which the only district game they lost last year was 7-6 against West. So he obviously has good reason to have respect for West defense, and you got a Robinson team coming in there with a new head coach and uh, probably some new wrinkles on offense. So that was one that I was kind of looking at the corner of my eye. I didn't know who I was covering, and I was like, I wonder if I could switch to that Robinson West game because I think it's going to be a good one. But our ace is at it, so I'm SOL there. I'm going to I'm going to Mart at Whitney, and so I get to see a debut as well as Coach Lancaster went from Robinson to Mart, and we didn't list Mart as either best chance to win a state championship or surprise team.
Right.
And I think that shows you just how much of a variable we feel like Mart is this year in terms of what to expect from them. They had a rough season for them last year, an uncharacteristically rough season. And then they go to Whitney, which, as mentioned before, is a pretty loaded 3A D1 school. So that's a tough task for the Mark Panthers there. But I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great game, and yeah. So I'm happy with my assignment, is what I'm saying.
That's good. Uh, so I'll mention a game that we're actually going to get from the Brian Eagle, but should be should be really interesting, and that's China Spring and Franklin. Um, I'm very interested in this game because I think it's gonna tell us a little bit about the Cougars in particular. So obviously they were down last year. Had a lot of young guys on that team that Tyler Beatty had a you know uncharacteristic 2-8 season. Um, didn't make the playoffs, but uh, that game even with China being down last year, it was 46-30. Um, and I think the Cougars are going to be a lot better this season. Um, Franklin does what Franklin does. They're always going to be, um, well coached. They run that wing T. So they're, a little old school in that regard. And you have to, know your keys and all that kind of thing when you're going up against them. They're very efficient. They put up points. They're tough defensively, but this would be a big opportunity, I think, for China. To say, hey, we're back, because it's kind of crazy to think that Franklin, even being Franklin, this state ranked 3A team, is a favorite against China Spring, because we're used to China making deep playoff runs, winning, competing, and winning state championships. So they're trying to get back to that level.
By the way, I got to give a shout out to my man Marcus, who listens to our podcast. That's Jaden Jackson's cousin from Franklin.
Okay.
Yep, he's somebody I chatted with last couple of weeks about our football podcast, and love to hear some feedback from people listening.
Love it.
And speaking of people listening, we talked about Robinson and La Vega in that district, and we left some people out, probably, including the China Spring Cougars. So they may, I don't know, it may be a little bit of an extra motivation for them.
Well, I mean, and Gatesville, Lorena, and Conley may have something to say too. Yeah, that district. Let's just put it this way: it's going to be competitive. I think La Vega is the clear favorite, rightfully so, but 2 through 6, flip a coin most nights, I would say. So I just sat here and talked about how I think the Franklin game will tell us something about China Spring. How much do you think a week 1 game tells you about a team? I mean, can you get a sense of who they are, or do you need a bigger sample size than that?
Me personally, I prefer a larger sample size. I mean, that's just me, because you never know coming out of the gates if guys are hurt, guys are, whatever. I mean, there's a lot of kind of variables, a lot of different factors that can, or, guys just don't have it. They might not have the offense down quite yet or something. There's a lot of different things that can happen in week ones. Week ones are kind of weird. It is you. I think two things can be true. I think you can still learn a little bit about a team, kind of get a sense a little bit, but at the same time, me personally, I would prefer to kind of maybe 2 or 3 weeks before I can kind of say, okay, I think I have a grasp of that team.
Chad?
Well, we view teams from our standpoint as sports writers, particularly high school teams, but we also all have teams that we're fans of, right? That we love as fans, and obviously mine is Texas Tech Red Raiders. And I went to their home opener or their season opener last year against Abilene Christian in Lubbock, and Abilene Christian scared the crap out of Texas Tech. Had to stop a 2-point conversion attempt in overtime, I believe, to survive that one. And you walk away from that and you think, well, they'll get better from week 1 to week 2, and week 1 doesn't tell the whole story, and you try to talk yourself off the ledge with those things. But the fact of the matter is the problems that were in game 1 were problems the rest of the season, including in a humbling loss against Baylor in whatever the heck month that was. It's not my favorite day of the year, to say the least.
So I think
you get a snapshot of what your team is going to be, and things can change, but you're not going to reinvent yourself.
So
Bryce is about to disagree with me.
I am.
Good. Yeah, that's what we're here for.
I don't think the week 1 team is the same as the week 10 team. Put it that way. I mean, obviously, you should be better by week 10. And let's face it, there are going to be some things that we all see here in week 1 that are inevitable. We're going to see some kid cramp up. We're going to see some kid run the wrong route. Somebody's going to have fumbleitis or something. There's just some kinks to work out. But I do agree with you, Chad, in the sense that dudes are dudes. And some dudes you can just go, yeah, he's a dude. I mean, and I'll take it back to Midway, who I've seen a lot the last couple years. 2 years ago when Ty Brown moved in from the Belton area to take over as quarterback, and I watched him play for the first time in week 1, it was like, okay, Midway's got a quarterback. This is a major upgrade. And so I think we'll be able to identify the playmakers and the kids that are coming up. But clearly, I mean, there's a reason these coaches tell us, hey, we're just looking to get better every week. they're it's a process.
Well, and on that point, what you were saying about getting better week 1 to week 10, it reminds me of an old Harvey Pinnock story. And this guy was telling Harvey Pinnock in the clubhouse or something. For those unfamiliar, Harvey Pinnock is a legendary golf coach in the Austin area. And this guy was telling Harvey, yeah, I'm really getting my game ready. I'm going to take a shot at the senior circuit. I've been working every day, been out there playing, practicing, whatever. And Harvey was like, okay, but you know what? So has that guy over there. And that guy over there was Tom Kite.
Wow. Okay.
So you get better every week. If you're, I don't want to pick on anybody. But if you're Team X, yeah, you're getting better every week. But so are Bremond and La Vega and all those guys.
Right. No. Yes, and I do think there are some things we can count on, like
La
Vega and Bremond being really good, and Mart having athletes, and things like that. So, obviously, it's a weird week 1 in the fact that we've got a stupid Baylor football game happening on Friday night.
I don't want to come out firmly against any college team playing on Friday night.
I completely agree. I agree. It's a pain in the butt for a multitude of reasons, but fortunately y'all will be at Friday games. We do also have some some Thursday games.
People have gotten such a kick out of when I tell them about the Ice Bowl.
Yeah, tell us where y'all are going. Che, you're going to shoot some pictures while Michael writes, right?
Right. Yep. Right. Yeah. Tell them about the Ice Bowl, Michael.
So it's the second year of it, and it's a neutral site game in Hamilton between the Polar Bears of Frost and the Blizzards of Winters. Yes. So it'll be probably I don't know. I mean, can it be a chilly game in the late August in Texas?
August? I don't. Hey, do you think we ought to? We're both going to it. Do you think we ought to wear hoodies just like just as costumes?
Winter coats, just kind of.
Very 17 years old of you, because that's what the stupid.
That's true. Really, the joke really wouldn't land because all these punk kids just do that all the time anyway.
That is at Hamilton's Cookin Field, Kooken. I think the winner, whether it's Winters or Frost, should get Blizzards at Dairy Queen after the game. There you go.
I like that.
There you go. I will be at Midway, Round Rock Westwood that night at Mary Hardin Baylor's Crusader Stadium. That one should be fun. And then Friday night, you guys mentioned where you'll be. Chad, you'll be at the Mart Whitney game. Should be fun. And then Michael will be at Robinson and West. We'll have Brian Coates at Waco High's opener. That's a new coach there, breaking in a new team, Ezra Martinez. So a lot to cover. We'll talk about it all. I think we're going to probably talk about it Saturday morning, if that's okay with you guys. A little super
Centex over easy.
I'll be somewhere west of here. Oh yeah, super over. Yeah, like
over easy.
I'll be somewhere west. It might be in Granbury, probably be in Eastland, I'm thinking.
All right. Well, if you have to, be on the road for that, that's okay. You don't necessarily have to pull over. You could just talk to us on your phone or something.
No. It's all situated. It's all. I'm prepared. I'm like, ready to go.
All right. Nice. Cool.
3 games in 3 cities.
Nice. That's fun.
It's one of those weekends.
Yeah, that's a good way to start the season. All right, we'll see you guys at the games. Thanks, guys.